Hey guys, if you're watching this, you are more than likely looking to buy your first home. I know, it's daunting. So I'm here to help you along your journey. Hi, my name's Clayton. I'm a licensed realtor in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and these are some of the steps that you'll need to take to buy a new home. Now, buying a home is a very complicated process, and it's more than likely a little bit different depending on where you live. I'm going to do my best to break down everything that I'm talking about in a clear and concise way that even normal people like you and me can understand. But of course, I may miss some things, so if you want more information, or if you got any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop a comment for me, and I'd be more than happy to help you. Let's get into it. Part 1. Before you start shopping. Now, before you even think about opening up Zillow, there's a couple things we need to get straight. First things first, you need to understand your finances. Before you start house hunting, take a deep dive into your income, your expenses, your savings. If you're renting or living with your parents, it's important to understand that when buying a home, there's a lot of pros, but there's also a lot of extra costs. It's important to factor in these extra costs. This could be anything from property taxes to maintenance to moving costs to furniture. It also may be helpful to have some money put away in a separate emergency fund account. There are also home inspections, appraisal, title costs, a lot of other costs during the process of actually buying the home that you'll want to keep account for as well. You'll also want to keep an eye on your credit. Do not make any large purchases before shopping for a home. That is dumb. That is stupid maneuvers. Don't do that. I've heard so many stories of people buying like brand new cars and trucks right before they start shopping for a house, and as a result of taking on all that extra debt, they're not able to get approved for a loan, which is actually a great segue into my second point. You're going to want to get pre-approved. Now, there's a couple reasons that you'll want to get pre-approved. First, you'll have an idea of what you can actually afford. I've had a lot of clients think that they can afford so much more than they actually can, and I've actually had a few clients that thought they could afford less than they actually could. So it's really important to get that pre-approval so you can have a general idea of what you can afford. Second, it's a great way to strengthen your offer whenever you actually start shopping. A lot of sellers are going to be very wary of people's financing falling through. And one way to bring their worries down is to have that pre-approval, basically saying, there is a much lower chance of my financing falling through. Lastly, you'll want to get pre-approved because it gives you the opportunity to talk to a lender. This lender will know the ins and outs of the trade, and they're going to be able to help you with everything from knowing the different loan types, as well as some tools like down payment assistance programs that can make your financing just a little bit easier. Now, if you're buying in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky markets and you need help finding a lender, hit my DMs or drop a comment. I'd be more than happy to refer you to somebody that can help. Now, I don't get any type of kickback from mortgage people or title people or inspectors or any of that I work with. I just love referring people to people who actually care and want to see people get into their dream home. Part 2. Actually shopping. Now, this is the part where you actually open Zillow and start shopping. Now that you know exactly what you can afford with that pre-approval letter, this is going to be a whole lot easier. It's going to be so much easier knowing exactly what you can afford, and then you can focus on other things. Now it's about the time you'll also want to start working with a real estate professional, a realtor. If you're looking for an agent, by the way, once again, just drop a comment, and I'd be more than happy to help with that, even if you're not shopping in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky. Now, you're going to want to figure out what you want, and be deliberate with what you want. Do you want a big yard? Do you want a garage? Do you want a basement? Do you want a big yard? Do you want acreage? Are all of these must-haves, or can you do without them? Have your laundry list, figure out what you want, but don't make it too much to where you end up with zero results. Now, work with that agent to hone in on exactly what you're looking for. And don't be afraid to ask questions. This is literally part of our job, and I know so many people who are like genuinely uncomfortable coming to me with questions. Like, dude, this is why I studied for so long. This is literally my job. Feel free to ask the questions. Now that you know what neighborhood you want to be in, what budget you're going to be in, what you want your house to come with, it's off to the races. You can schedule showings, attend open houses, everything your heart desires until you land on the perfect home. Part 3, here's the beefy one, actually getting into the perfect home. Once you've found what you call the perfect home, work with your agent to figure out a good purchase offer. You can also strengthen your offer with that pre-approval letter I mentioned earlier, an escalation clause where you can basically up your offer on the paperwork without having to talk to anyone in order to beat out another offer, or an earnest money deposit, which for the record is basically promissory money that you offer to the seller, like, I'm going to buy this house. You pay that out of pocket, it's held in a special account, and if you buy the house, it is credited back to you. Here you'll also opt in or out of inspections, you'll choose a title company, and most agents are actually going to have title companies they work with, and more. It's important to not fall in love with the house just yet. Even if your offer was picked, you're not out of the woods yet. I've seen so many people get burnt out because they found the house of their dreams, and then it falls through due to inspection or financing or something like that, and then they just get burnt out and they don't want to look for houses anymore. So don't fall into that trap. Now, once you're under contract, you'll have the opportunity to do inspection. Please, for the love of all things good and holy, do the inspections. Inspections where I am are around $500, and they can save you so much headache, not to mention thousands of dollars in the case that something were to go wrong. Now, usually your agent will have an inspector to refer you to. I'm no different. I have a guy that I work with almost exclusively. An inspection is so important because a house can look perfectly fine from a distance, but then you walk up to it and there's termites, the HVAC needs to be replaced, the water's draining toward the house, and as a result the foundation's falling apart, and there's so much carbon monoxide that it's a miracle that you and your agent made it out of that showing alive. Now, some inspection reports can be overwhelming. You'll get it back, it'll be like a 10, 12-page document just full of stuff wrong with the house. Don't be alarmed, this is what you paid the inspector to do. They're going to nitpick the heck out of that house. So don't let it overwhelm you. You want to worry about the bones of the house. Things like the foundation, the walls, the roof, all of that stuff. Really things that will cost an arm and a leg to replace. Little things like cabinets and stuff like that, in comparison to all the bigger stuff, is really not that big of a deal. All this is going to be happening while you're actually applying for your loan, getting it reviewed, underwritten, and getting the home appraised. More on that in a second. For a buyer, that's you, this time is going to be super hectic. It's all about communication and urgent patience. You know how they say, wait faster? There's going to be a lot of that here. You want to make sure you're moving with urgency, but also give the people enough time to do their job. Most of these people have been doing this for years, and they know the timelines, they know you're good. And if you're working with reputable companies, a lot of times they'll actually email you, your agent, the seller's agent, basically everybody involved in the deal, updates on where they're at. As I mentioned before, the house needs to be appraised. The appraisal is the bank's way of figuring out if a price you offered on the house is going to be a worthwhile investment for them. In Ohio, it's considered to be a closing cost, and so that's something that'll be brought to the closing table. I'll get more into closing in a bit. Now, as you get closer to sealing the deal, that's when the title company that you chose before is going to get more involved. Now, the title company sort of acts like a middleman, making sure that the transfer of title goes over without any hiccups. They'll be making sure there's no lien on the property where money is owed, and there's no other issues or clouds with the paperwork before you actually get to the closing table. That is also where title insurance comes in. Now, I highly recommend title insurance. Typically, it's a few $100s, and it can save you so much headache in the long run. Like, for example, I sold a house last year. Everything was going great until a very, very small lien came up on the property. It was a little credit card lien, and that was going to halt our closing completely, possibly even ruin the deal. However, my sellers had title insurance, and it turned a week-plus long process of contacting the bank, getting that all taken care of, into a few hour process where they just contacted title insurance company and they took care of it. Literally saved that deal because the owners had title insurance. It can really save your butt in the long run. I highly recommend you get it. Now that you've signed for your loan, you've gotten the house inspected and appraised, and title's ready to transfer, it's time to get to the closing table. A few days before closing, you'll receive your ALTA statement from either the title company or your agent. This document looks like a lot, and to be fair, it is. It's nothing crazy. There will be a column for the seller and a column for the buyer. Debit means you're getting charged, credit means you're getting paid. You'll have a lot to sign at the closing table. Most title agents that I've seen are really good at explaining what each document you sign is, especially for first-time home buyers. You'll also pay your down payment with all your closing costs. Closing costs are a great example of those unexpected costs, by the way, that I was talking about earlier. You may not realize that you're going to have these whenever you first get into buying a house. If you're a veteran, you know that these closing costs are coming, but if you're a first-time home buyer, you don't know that these are coming. This could range from recording fees, title fees, mortgage insurance, title insurance, taxes, homeowners association dues, literally anything. All that comes out of pocket at closing. Now, there are some charges you can roll onto your mortgage, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because remember, you're trying to build equity and not pay as much interest. It's not worth it to put those little things on there and increase your mortgage if you can. You can also ask the seller to pay some of the closing costs, but it weakens your offer, and it's something that you should talk over with your agent before you commit to it. Well, congratulations, you're a homeowner. Now what? Start thinking about your long-term plans. Do you want to keep this house for a while, or is this just an investment to get you into the next place? How does this house align with your future goals? If you are consciously thinking about this home will mean a lot more to you, and it'll keep you making informed decisions as you go forward. Well, there you have it. Your guide to first-time home buying. Remember, it's a journey, not a race. Take a deep breath, calm down, you're going to be okay. As long as you have the right professionals around you, you are going to be just fine. It's a wonderful process. It is a scary one. As long as you have the right people around you, it'll be totally fine. If you have any questions, like I said before, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd be more than happy to answer, or shoot me a DM on any of my socials. They're all linked below. If you're looking to buy or sell in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky, I'm your guy. My name's Clayton. I'm a real estate agent. I can help you with that. And if you're not in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky market, I can also help you find somebody in your local market. Feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to refer you to somebody. Thank you for tuning in to my first commentary style video. I really appreciate it. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'd love to reach more people. And leave a comment if you have any questions, concerns, video ideas, anything you want me to talk about. I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Until next time, stay quirked up.